Well, welcome to this third webinar organized by Realco. The idea of this webinar is to answer the question how to avoid any contamination after the restart of your activities. My name is Gautier Magnée. I'm a bioengineer and I'm working at Realco as an international enzymatic application specialist. So this means that my job is basically to do some troubleshooting. So when we have a customer facing some contamination, my job is to go on the shop floor to help them to discover the origin of the contamination and recommend them some treatment to get rid of the contamination, but also to set up some protocols to prevent the coming back of the contamination. So as you may know, we did two webinars previous this one. So with this presentation, I'm going, in fact, just to review quickly what my colleague just showed you before. So the first presentation was about the biofilm. So we will just summarize what are the important information regarding the biofilm issues. And then the second webinar was about why to clean and disinfect. So it was quite obvious, but it's important also to remind you about that. And finally, we will take the time to discuss the question of how to optimize the cleaning and disinfection to avoid any contamination. So the biofilm, what's a biofilm? The biofilm is just the way of living for the bacteria. So basically the bacteria are living into an environment which is your food producing area or kitchen, depending on what you are doing. The bacteria, in fact, they don't want to be removed from those areas. And so, in fact, they are organizing themselves to be protected. And they are, in fact, producing an EPS matrix made of organic polymers. And they are, in fact, making like a shield, helping them to survive into the environment. So it's, of course, a constant source of contamination for you. And mainly into the biofilm, you will find the microorganism producing, in fact, the biofilm. So you will see in this slide that there is plenty of different kind of bacteria able to generate the biofilm. Plus those one, you have also some bacteria that are not especially really good to make the biofilm, but they are taking advantage of the biofilm they are getting inside. And then they are living protected thanks to the community inside the biofilm. Most of the time, you have 1, 2, or maximum 3 bacteria taking the lead of the contamination. And in fact, they are just protected there. And then at the time, they are going to contaminate the environment. In addition of the bacteria making the biofilm, you may find other things. For instance, you may have some viruses or some phages. The phages are really a problem in the cheese industry, because in fact they are just killing the bacteria used like a ferment. And so you have some issues with the process of making the cheese. We may find also some molds and yeast. For instance, a famous one is the Candida albicans, which is yeast that we can find in the milk area. And they are just altering the product. So when you are processing something like yogurt, you have organoleptic problem because of that kind of yeast. Here is just a quick video showing you the growth of a biofilm. So in fact, when the bacteria are getting into a surface and they have the time and the possibility to generate a biofilm, this is the kind of thing you will see. Of course, in this case, this is into a lab, so it's going quite fast. We try to not have such good condition in food industries or kitchen. And I'm just going to give you some facts about the biofilm. So in fact, most of the bacteria are organized into a biofilm. They are not, in fact, they are not free. They are not like planktonic cells living and arriving into the environment. Most of the time, they are trying to organize themselves into a biofilm structure. It's important to know that when you have a biofilm, the microorganisms that are protected inside, in fact, they are 10 to 1,000 times more resistant to the biocide that you may use in the area. So basically, in fact, when you are trying to kill the bacteria by using a good sanitizer, in fact, you are not really reaching the bacteria protected inside the biofilm, which is the real problem of having a biofilm into your production area. Also, we consider that 60% of the foodborne illness are related to a biofilm issue. So it means that, of course, if most of the bacteria are living into a biofilm structure, it means that when they are into your environment and then they release some bacteria, you are going to have some contamination of your product. Also, it's important to know that if you are able to find a bacteria into your environment, there is 70% of chance that those bacteria will be found into your final product. Again, it's just logical, because if you are able to find planktonic bacteria, and you will see into the development of the biofilm on the next slide, so this one, when you have bacteria reaching a surface and they have the opportunity to fix themselves and stay over there, they are going to generate the matrix of the biofilm, so the EPS matrix. So they are producing the shield, and then the biofilm is growing, and at a time, and we never know when it will be the time, the biofilm is going to release some bacteria, and those bacteria are just going to contaminate the environment, or just they are going to go downstream to the place where they were previously. And so the biofilm is just starting to be everywhere into your process. You will ask me the question, okay, how do I know that I have a biofilm? In fact, there is some indicators that you may have a biofilm. For instance, it's just when you are making your control of your surfaces and you don't see the bacteria, and time to time you see a high amount of bacteria, it can be linked, in fact, to the presence of a biofilm. So the biofilm is just releasing at the time you are going to make your control, and then you control again and there is no release from the biofilm, so you don't see anything. So that's the kind of tips you may detect the presence of the biofilm. It can be also a change of the shelf life of your product. So you know that, for instance, the shelf life of your product is 2 weeks, and in fact, after 1 week, you start to see some problem with your product. It can be contamination or organoleptic change. This is linked most of the time to the presence of bacteria. Or you may have also some product recall, or you have some customer telling you that there is some change of flavor. So that's the kind of thing you may have with the biofilm. So this was, it was just about a quick reminder about the biofilm. Now I'll just speak quickly about why to clean and disinfect. So it can be obvious, the cleaning, but in fact it's important because the cleaning is the first important step into the protocol of getting rid of the contamination. So the cleaning, the basis of the cleaning is to remove the organic and inorganic residue that you have on your surfaces. So the idea is to remove every dirty parts. The disinfection, it's different. We are going, in fact, to kill the microorganisms that are free on the surfaces. So basically, the cleaning remove the things, and the disinfection is going to kill the bacteria or the residue virus that you may have on your production area. The detergent, there is different kind of detergent, and the idea is, as I said, get the visible clean. So basically, the detergents are divided into 3 groups. So the first one is the acid group. So the acid is going to remove any inorganic parts. So it's just like limescale or limestones. And then you have alkali product. The alkali, in fact, they are going to remove the organic or the burn organic products. The problem with the alkali product is that the pH is quite important, and so it can be dangerous for the operators or for the equipment to use some product like that. On the other hand, you have the neutral products, so that's the idea of having an enzymatic product. Why? Because the enzymes that are not alive, they are proteins. In fact, they are going to recognize some organic residue, and they are able to hydrolyze them. So it means they are going to cut them into small parts. And when you are going to rinse, in fact, you are removing all the dirt from your surfaces. So that's the advantage. There is no risk with the neutral pHs. Then the disinfectant, there is different kind of disinfectant, different kind of molecules that you may use depending on what you want to kill and what is your process. So it's important to choose the good one. I'm not going to explain you the different kind of molecules we have, but if you are interested and you were not present At the previous presentation, it's possible to contact Realco, and the webinar of my colleague Lisiane Ernst and Laurent Delal have been recorded. So it's possible to get them and see the presentation they made last week. So this slide is just showing you what you have to design. So basically, first thing is to choose the molecules you are going to use for the cleaning and for the disinfection. And when you have decided the molecule you are going to use, depending, of course, of your process and the area where you are going to apply the product, you have to follow the operators. So you have to design the protocol, so step by step. And then you have to apply the product and follow the operator, because it's important to be behind those people that are really doing the cleaning, to be sure that they are doing what they are supposed to do. And also your job is to validate that the protocol that you have designed is efficient and is able to remove everything. And this is the idea of this presentation. I'm just going to help you to know what you have to optimize with the cleaning and the disinfection to avoid, in fact, the contaminations. So the good hygiene practices, I think this is the basic, and I will start with that. This is the personal hygiene. So basically, you are using people are helping you to clean and sanitize the environment of your production lines. And it's really important to know that those persons, they have to be very careful and really compliant with the rules. So the first thing is to have a very good personal hygiene. So it means frequently cleaning the hands. And this is something more important now with the crisis with the COVID, because we know that the hands are touching a lot of things. And so they are really the way of coming with the contamination into the production area. You cannot get any jewel also. If you have some wounds, it's important to cover them or to heal them at least, because it's always a way of having contamination into the production area. Also, the clothes that the people are wearing, it's really important to have the good one. You have to design them or choose them depending on what you are producing. Of course, the cap, it's something we are used to use, but also the facial mask, because now more and more people are using that, and even into production area, to be sure that we are not going to contaminate the product we are making. And also the fact of having security shoes, because we know that it's always a risk of having a problem if something is fallen into your feet. You cannot smoke, of course, in production area. There is most of the time, some places where you can do that. The idea is also to be sure that the people, when they are coming back from the break or from the smoking pause, they have normally to clean their hands and to sanitize their hands. And it's really important to follow the rules and check that the people are following them. No eating, no chewing also. It's just a way of spreading the contamination. So again, it's to be avoided. So I'm coming back to the hands. As I said, the hands are very important. This is, with the hands, you are touching everything, in fact. So it's really important to be sure that they are clean and disinfected. And you have to tell your people that when they are going to work into the production, they have time to time to just stop the job and go back to wash and sanitize their hand again. Wearing a glove, for me, it's not enough, because most of the time when you are wearing gloves, you don't think that you are touching things. You can feel that you are touching the things. And so, in fact, you are not really taking enough cleaning and sanitation during the day. Again, the basic. So when you have chosen a chemical for the cleaning or a sanitizer for the disinfection, you are going to apply them. And in fact, you need to respect what we call the cercle de Sinner. And we call that for the presentation, the tact, because it's just an easy way to remember the 4 parameters that you need to respect absolutely to be sure that you are going to have a good cleaning and sanitation. So the TAC means time, action, concentration, and temperature. So they are the real 4 important parameters to follow. And I will explain you that with the next slide. So in fact, when you are going to choose one product, you will get normally an application sheet with it. And into the application sheet, you will find all the information regarding the good application of that product. So the first information, of course, is the name, and it's important for the operators to know the name of the product they are using. Why? Because we'll see, that's the last point, there is always a risk of using a chemical or a sanitizer. And in case of contact with the product, they need to know the name of the product to tell it to the people in charge of helping them in case of contact. Also, they need to know the name. Why? Because there is always a purpose of the product. So if the product has been designed to clean the floor, maybe it has not been designed to clean surfaces when you have a contact with the food. So sometimes it's like that. So it's important to know the application of the product and what you should do with that product. So if they don't know the name, they cannot know exactly where they have to apply the product. Also, you will get the information of the pH. So as I told you, there is different kind of pHs. So you can, different category of product. We have the acid products. So we have a low pH, we have the alkaline product with a high pH, and we have the neutral pH product like enzymatic product where you have a pH of 7. pH of 7 is just the neutral one, so it's the pH of the water basically. So this is the pH where there is no risk of contact because your skin is at neutral pH 2. The 4 important information are also on that sheet. So you have the temperature, action, concentration, and time. The temperature, it's a very important parameter because if you don't reach the optimal temperature, the cleaning cannot be efficient. So basically, with an acid product, you will see that most of the time we ask you to use a low temperature because if you go into a high temperature, you may have some steam and the steam are not really really cool for the operators. So we are trying most of the time to avoid the high temperature. With an alkaline product, when you are doing the cleaning, normally to reach the optimal temperature of action of the product, if it's based on caustic, you will see that the temperature should be 80 Celsius degree. So when you are cleaning kitchen or even if you are cleaning the food industry and it's with foam gun, for instance, you are not able to reach that kind of temperature. So it means that with that product, you cannot reach the perfect temperature. It can be okay because you can compensate the problem of the temperature, or you can also use an enzymatic product at neutral pH because the optimal temperature will be between 45 and 55 Celsius degree, which is the temperature of hot water in kitchens or even in food industry. The action, so basically you need to know how to apply the product depending of the product. It can be a foam gun, it can be a pistol, or it can be just a brush with sponges. So you need to know how to apply the product because it's important to apply it with the good way. The concentration, this is a very important part also because there is always a good concentration, the recommended one. And you need to qualify and verify that the concentration is the good one because most of the time we are using automatic dilution system and those systems need to be calibrated because if you are, for instance, using a product at 3%, you need to be sure that the system is giving you 3%. Sometimes just because you are using it, you can have some blockage and so the concentration is just going to dilute the product. And so if you have that, you cannot reach a good cleaning. And finally, the time. So for each product, there is a time of contact. Why? Because when you are going to apply the product needs some time to act. For an example, today with the COVID, which is a virus that is with a lipidic membrane, we recommend the use of alcohol because with the alcohol is able, in fact, to destroy that lipidic matrix. And in fact, to get a good disinfection, you need to apply the product, you need to clean your hand and you need to apply the product for at least 30 seconds to 60 seconds because it takes time for the product to get into the virus. So for each product, it's like that. You need to follow the recommendation. As I said, also, you will have the risk on the sheet. So it means that what are the EPI the operators need to wear when they are using the product to avoid any damage, any problem. So when you have chosen the different molecules you are going to use, you have to design the kind of protocol you are going to use. So basically there is two big possibilities. We have a cleaning in 3 steps or a cleaning and disinfection in 5 steps. So the difference between the two is that with the 3 steps, you are using a product 2-in-1, so a product able to clean and sanitize at the same time. Why you have to go for 3 steps or 5 steps? Most of the time it's designed because you are producing during a short time, or the product you are going to produce is going to be consumed quite fast. So it's more for the kitchen. When you are going to the food industry, we prefer to go for a 5-step. So you have a distinction between the cleaning and the sanitation. Why? Because sometimes you have a production of more than 24 hours. And so when you are doing the cleaning, you have 6 hours and you need to make a very good clean, able to remove all the organic matters that have been, that are still on the production line. So the first step for both protocols, it's the rinsing step. So the first one, in fact, the idea is to remove any kind of organic residue that are on the surfaces. And that's really an important step because, in fact, if you don't remove the visible organic particles, in fact, most of the time, the cleaning product are not able to remove them because they are very big particles. So it's important to make a very good first rinse before starting really the use of the chemicals. You can see also that there is always a rinsing step at the end. And the reason is that, in fact, the cleaning product or even the sanitation product, they are removing organic matters, inorganic matters, or killing bacteria. And by the rinsing step, you are just removing everything and you are just putting everything into the drains. So that's really important to respect also that last step, because if you don't use it, you may have a lot of organic residue that are going to stay on the surfaces. And of course, it's a way for the bacteria that are not killed to eat something and then to make the resistance with the biofilm. So the protocol in 5 steps, as I said, the difference is just that the cleaning and the disinfection are separated. Of course, you will always have a better clean when you are using a 5-step. The problem is the time it takes. So even if you choose a 3-step cleaning, you can always make a 5-step cleaning time to time, just because you know that you need to remove more. And with the 5-step cleaning, you will always remove more things. Just some focus points, because I've seen that a lot of time in the food industry, you have got, and even in kitchens, you have got some tools for the cleaning, like brush, rag, or buckets. It's important also to clean and sanitize those equipment. So in fact, you are using them during the cleaning and the sanitation, but you will see that most of the time you have things getting blocked into the brush, for instance. And because you are not taking the time to clean them, really removing those pieces and cleaning them and then applying a good disinfection, in fact, those equipment are contaminated. So it means that anytime you are making the clean or the sanitation, it's even worse. In fact, you are coming with a contamination into the production. So it's really important to take care of that. Cleaning and disinfection of the hand and the shoes. So in fact, it's a bit stupid, but I've seen that also a lot of time. Some people are just making a very good cleaning and a very good sanitation. And at the end of the process, they are making the last rinse and they are coming back into the environment with dirty shoes and also with hands that are not being cleaned and sanitized. And they are touching the equipment because they are just putting the equipment in the right position for the production. In fact, when you are finishing your cleaning and sanitation steps and you are rinsing everything, the best thing to do is just to go back, washing your hands, disinfecting your hands, cleaning your shoes, and then you can come back into the clean environment just to put everything back in position for the production. Also, as I said, always rinse all material after cleaning and disinfection, because you are using chemicals, and the chemicals have not been designed to be in contact with the product you are producing. So I know that with some molecules, some people like to leave the product in contact with the surfaces, but it's also very important to clean them to be sure that there is no remaining chemicals matters on the surfaces before the production. The good hygiene practices is also the security. We are speaking more and more about the security. Never mix the cleaning product and even the sanitizer. There is really a lot of risk with that. It can be just an exothermic reaction, so you are just making some heating. It can be an explosion also, or even production of gas with the reaction of different kind of chemicals. So that's really dangerous. And I've seen that just like 2 weeks ago. I was following a factory, and in fact they were cleaning 2 different lines. The lines were separated, but in fact they were using 2 kind of different chemicals for each line. And they were saying, yeah, there is no problem because it's 2 different lines. But in fact, the problem is that all the foam was going down into the drain, and into the drain, the product were mixing. And so, as I said, you may produce some steam, or you may produce some gas with those reactions, and it can be really dangerous for the operators. Respect also the protection that you are able to wear. So it's DEPI. So you have gloves, glasses, or mask. Depending on what you are using, it's really important to use them because, again, you are using detergent or using sanitizer, and the idea is to protect the operators from them. The good reflex to have in case of any contact with the products is just to rinse. Why? Because when you are going to rinse, in fact, you are diluting the product, so there is less risk for the guy in contact with the product. So basically, rinse always after the contact, but also you need to know the product you are using, and that's always why I was saying at the beginning, when you are using a product, it's important for the operator to know the name of the product he's using. Also because in case of contact, he has to be able to tell the name of the product, because with each product there is a safety data sheet with all the information about how to treat the patient in case of contact with the product. So when you have chosen the right chemical and you have designed a protocol and you are following the protocol into a room, you need to know, okay, I've got different kind of areas into my production. What we call the zone 1 or area number 1, it's just the heart of your business. So it means where you are really producing the food. Of course, this is the area where you need to make more cleaning and more disinfection. You need to be there and very careful when you are doing the cleaning there. But of course, there is also other areas, so like the zone 2 or zone 3, that are just the places where you are getting inside, or just the storage. It can be also the loading area when you are charging the trucks. So those places, in fact, need to be cleaned and sanitized also time to time. And you need to know that into this crisis period, you need to maybe reconsider the interval, the time of doing the cleaning and sanitation of those areas. Why? Because we know that the virus may get inside your production from directly from those areas. So it's really important also to think of increasing the cleaning and sanitation of those areas. The high touch surfaces. So we know that, as I said, the hands are touching a lot of things. So it's important for the operators to think, okay, I have to clean and sanitize my hand more often, but also it's important to think of the places where you have a lot of contact. So it can be the light switch, the handles, or the doors. So it means that it's important also to have some people of the staff taking care of those places more often than usual. You will have also a lot of small tools that may be used a lot of time during a day. like also the transport material. In fact, you are touching them at any time. So it's important to take care of them. But also, again, everything's slicing, so the knives or the cutting machine, we know that they are touching a lot of surfaces, so it's important also to design something able to clean and sanitize them very well. The hygiene material, again, you are touching places to clean your hands, to take the soap. So some people, sometimes they are touching the things. So when it's like that, it's important also to think that you need to clean the equipment that you are using to clean yourself. It can be stupid, but it's really important. And as I said, also all the equipment you are using to do the cleaning and the sanitation, it's important to clean the tools you are using. This is just some picture to show you what we can see. So basically, as I said, when you are making a cleaning and a sanitation, you have to start with the first rinse, the pre-rinse. That step is really important, and the idea is to remove any kind of big organic particles that you can see. Why? Because the detergent and the sanitizer, they have not been designed to remove that kind of big particles. So it means that that's the first step. And on those pictures, you can see that there is some foam and there is also some organic residue. So it means that at those places, the cleaning will not be good. So it's really important to follow the operators, because you have designed a cleaning protocol, but you need to be sure that the people are really handling the cleaning and the sanitation, they are following the rules and they are applying the product very well. I told you also with the concentration, so this is also important to validate that the foaming units of the dilution units are in fact diluting the product at the right concentration, because if it's not the case, you will not get the sufficient concentration, and it can impact, in this case, for example, the quality of the foam. So you have the foam here that has been applied, and as you can see, the foam is not with a good condition, and so the foam will not stick to the surfaces during the time, again, so that's the tact. You don't have the time of contact, and so you cannot have a good cleaning or a good sanitation. In this case, you have a good quality of foam, so you see that the concentration is reached, and so you will also reach the time of contact. So that's why it's important to control that kind of equipment to be sure that you are able to get what you wanted. In this, it's just a quick video of a guy applying the foam. As you can see, the guy is just applying the foam everywhere, so it's important for him to know the equipment is going to clean. But it's also important to know that those people need to be managed. So you need to go sometimes on the shop floor to see what's really the cleaning, and if they are applying the cleaning very well. This is also the kind of job we do at Realco. We are helping the customers and following them to be sure that the cleaning is well proceed. I'm just switching quickly on the enzymatic solution. So I told you with the neutral pH product, it's possible to take care of the stubborn organic residue, but also the contamination with the biofilm. And this is the kind of product I'm going to present you quickly here. So you just have, in fact, different kind of product depending on the business you have. If you are into a kitchen, for instance, this is the product we have designed. So it's called the Biofilm BF. So that product can be used for preventive or for curative treatment. So you will remove organic stuff, but you will also be able to remove biofilm contamination. So the idea is just to use that product directly from the gun you see on the slide. And that gun can be directly connected into a dilution station that you have in kitchen. Most of the kitchen are equipped with that kind of stuff. So it's really easy to use the product. And well, you are sure that you can control the problems. If you are into food industry and you need something foaming very well, we have got a product or different kind of product depending if you want to have a preventive or a curative treatment. So basically that product will foam and will stick on the surfaces during 15 to 30 minutes. So you have a good contact time to be able to remove everything. If you have like a CIP system, so cleaning in place, we do have also solutions with enzyme for preventive and for curative treatment. So those products are not foaming at all, and they can be used for CIP systems. This leads us directly to the conclusion. So as I said, there is some important message from this presentation. The first one is just to follow the good hygiene practices. This is the basic, but it's important to start with the basic, because if you don't start with the basic, you will never achieve a good cleaning and sanitation. So you will never manage the control of the contamination. Implement effective cleaning and disinfection protocol. So as I said, you have to design, you have to choose between the molecules that you have on the market. You have to choose the one that are able to help you into your process. And then you have to design the good cleaning protocol, and you have to follow the people using and implementing your protocol. And at the end, you have also to validate that the protocol you have is able to achieve what you were looking for. Just for information, because I've seen some factories like that in the recent weeks. Sometimes you have a cleaning protocol that is really effective. You know that with that one, you are able to control everything. But because of the COVID crisis, sometimes you are just increasing the production into your area because the demand is asking you to produce more. It's important to check that your protocol that was okay before is still okay with this increase of production, because when you are increasing your production, of course, there is more stuff to remove with the cleaning. So you have to be sure that your cleaning is still able to take care of that. If you have doubt about the performance of your cleaning, you can always perform a preventive treatment. So you have seen there is preventive product that can be used for preventive treatments. And those ones are just helping you, in fact, to avoid the risk of contamination. And if you have also some contamination, and you know that you have some contamination, so remember with the biofilm topics, you have some indicators that you may have something, then you can directly go for a curative program that will help you, in fact, to go back to a zero level. So it means you are removing any kind of organic stubborn residue, and you are removing any kind of biofilm contamination. And so it means that your equipment is totally clean, and you can go without any stress. You can start your production. So thank you. Oh, sorry, I was just going to say who we are. So Realco is a Belgian company, but we are in fact going everywhere in the world because we have dealers like everywhere. And this is also the job of my team. We are in fact going on the shop floor everywhere in the world to assist and to help the customers facing contamination, in fact. We are in the business of hygiene for more than 30 years. So that's really what we do. And in fact, the core business is based on the design of using enzyme for the cleaning. So basically, we are not especially using normal detergent. We are really using biotech. So it's detergent based on enzyme. So thank you for your attention. I hope this presentation was interesting for you. And now if you have any kind of question, you can write them, you can type them, and my colleague just next to me is going to show me your question, and I'm going to answer the question directly. So we have here the first question: what should be the active ingredient for the chemical used for disinfection to be effective on biofilm? So as I said, when you have a biofilm, in fact, there is some research, scientific research, that are proving that any kind of disinfectant you are using on biofilm are not effective at all. So in fact, you are going to maybe act on the bacteria on the top layer of the biofilm, but you will never act on the bacteria that are protected inside the biofilm. So there is some research showing you that the bacteria inside the biofilm are so resistant that even if you are increasing the concentration of the sanitizer, and it can be a very good oxidizer like chlorine or peracetic acid, that's really strong, you are not able to kill all of the germs. So in fact, to take care of them, the best way to do it is just to implement, in fact, a curative treatment. So you have an enzymatic cocktail that is in fact able to hydrolyze the EPS matrix. So in fact, you are removing the shield of the bacteria. You are just freeing all the bacteria that were trapped into the biofilm, and then you can apply a good sanitizer that will be in fact a chlorine or a peracetic acid product. and you are going to kill the germ. So in fact, it's two steps. With the disinfectant, you are not able to clean, remember, you are going to kill. And in fact, the first step is to remove the protection. So you open the biofilm with the enzymes, and then you can kill the germs that were trapped into them. Want to ask you a question? So here we have a question. So the question is, in fact, when you have something in a dry environment, so like belt, when you are making something like biscuit or bread, in fact, what kind of product can be applied on that? So in fact, in that kind of industry, most of the time, we try to not wet the surfaces, because then it's going to be really difficult to clean them. So in fact, the best recommendation will be, in fact, to brush the surface to remove all the particles that are easy to remove and are really sticking on the surfaces. And then, in fact, you can directly apply something like an alcoholic product that will kill the germs that were developing on the surface. If you have on that kind of belt, you have that kind of yeast or molds that are just visible on the surfaces, then you will need to perform a cleaning with some solution, so a liquid solution, because it's not possible to clean with a dry way that kind of equipment. So you will need to focus on a very specific area. So it means you can make a solution for the cleaning and disinfection. You can just apply it very locally, maybe just with sponges and with a bucket. And then it's important also to dry the surface to be sure that nothing will come back directly on the surface, because when it's dry, in fact, you don't have the water. So it's more difficult for the bacteria to grow on those surfaces. The next question, is there any test to confirm all organic matters is removed after the detergent cleaning, even with enzymatic detergent, to implement disinfection process? So in fact, yes, there is some tools. We are using at Realco different kind of tools. Those tools are not for sale, but in fact, we are helping the customer. So as I said, we are traveling everywhere, and on the shop floor, we can help you to design the good protocol. So in fact, we are going to use tools. We have got two tools to detect the presence of organic matters and biofilm. The first one is just a UV lamp that we are using to detect the presence of something. So with the UV lamp, we can see that something is sticking somewhere. And then we are going to apply a patented product. It's called the Biofilm detection kit. And in fact, it's just a colorant that we are applying on the surface. And the coloration will appear if there is some organic or if there is some biofilm. And we are able, with another product, to make the difference between the organic residue and the biofilm. So this is a tool really to help you to tell, okay, the cleaning was efficient and you can perform the sanitation without any risk. We are just going to kill the germs and not applying the disinfectant on something that you are not able to remove. The next question from the slide, there are 3 steps of rinsing after cleaning and disinfection. What kind of water are recommended to use? So in fact, it depends on the area where you are. So if you are into the high care or not. If you are not into the high care, we consider that you should use a processed water. With a processed water, in fact, we means that you can use just a water supply from the city water. It means that normally that kind of water is under control. So there is some germs, of course, because this is water, but the quantity of stored germs is okay. And it means that when you are applying that, there is no risk really of having a contamination following the rinse. If you are rinsing into the high care area, we recommend to use treated water. That is most of the time water produced by a reverse osmosis system, or water that has been treated by a UV lamp, for instance. What are the quality required for rinsing water? So yes, this is just a question I just answered. There is also some tools that you can use to qualify the quality of the water. At Realco, we are using the ATP second generation test. So this is a test giving you, in fact, a range of contamination you have into your water, and you know if you are out of line or if you are okay by the quantity of ATP you have into the water. So you may be using the ATP first generation to control the quality of the cleaning. The ATP second generation is a bit different. In fact, we are taking a sample of the water. We are filtrating the water into a filter of 0.2 micron. And so, in fact, we are just concentrating all the cells on the filter. And then we are going to hydrolyze the cells, and we are going to take only the intracellular ATP. And we can then check the quantity of that ATP. And we have some like I would say some limits to tell you, okay, the quality of the water, your water is okay, or it's too high, and you need to implement a treatment on your water before using it. Next question, after caustic, acid caustic CIP, if we use hot water for rinsing, is it remove residual caustic completely? So of course, when you are going to use hot water instead of cold water, you will have more opportunities to have a good flush. So basically when it's hot, it's helping you in fact to dilute the product. So definitely using hot water will help you to rinse it easier. Je pense qu'il y en avait une que je n'avais pas faite. Okay. So we don't see other questions. So if you have other, don't hesitate to ask them. Also, if you want, if you have some question in the future, don't hesitate to contact us. And if you would like to see the previous webinar that have been organized by my colleague Benoît Duculot and Lisiane Ernst, all the webinars have been recorded, so it's possible to get them to see what was discussed during those one. So thank you very much for your attention. I hope that it was interesting for you. And well, see you later, and don't hesitate to contact us. Bye, have a good day.